Okay, Christine asks, if it is your position that a thought can never be removed from the landscape entirely, I think you alluded to that. Do you have any advice or strategies, whether during meditation for those of us who are new to this, or non-meditation or otherwise, as to how we best keep the particularly stressful, distressing thoughts as far in the background as possible? Okay, now, I don't think I said that there's always thinking. And it's certainly an individual thought you can't hold on to an individual thought. It's impossible to just keep one thought in your mind, because the nature of thoughts are they're not there, they arise, they're present, and then they're gone. So you don't have to worry about getting rid of a thought, because if you're having a thought, a couple seconds later, it's not going to be there. That's first off. Now, about thinking in general, it's perfectly natural to think, and it's perfectly natural not to think. There are many, many times during the day that naturally we don't think. Now, we may be tying our shoe. Now, we can be thinking while tying our shoe, or washing the dishes, or doing this or doing that. But if you notice really carefully, there are times that we don't think. So it's natural to think, and it's natural not to think. Now, we said that the purpose of meditation is not to stop your thoughts. But it is true, Christine, that as you meditate more, that mental activity can slow down, and mental activity can stop for a while. That happens when you meditate. You're not trying to do that. We'll call that an ancillary effect of meditation. Now, when you talk about how do we keep the particularly stressful or distressful thoughts as far in the background as possible, that you don't want to do, because that is a form of aversion. By trying to say, that thought, I don't want you, you empower that thought. You give fuel to that thought or to that line of thought. So the question is, why is that thought distressful? And why are you averse to it? Now, the easiest way is just to say, aversion. I don't like that thought. I'm being averse right now. That's perfectly honest. That's the reality. That's what's happening. Now you could say, I don't want to be averse. I want to be accepting. That's another form of aversion. You're averse to your aversion. Ultimately, none of these thoughts have power over you. And by you, I mean that which knows the thoughts. The sky can't be hurt by the clouds. Awareness can't be hurt by the type of thought you're having. The flat screen on the TV cannot be hurt by the particular picture that's on it. is that it's a panoply. It's a field. It's a field of objects. It's a field of happenings. The more you relate and the more you rest in who you really are, rather than who you think you are, the less power those thoughts have over you. Because those thoughts are really just creating a story. That's the foreground. And to the extent that you believe you are that story, then they're going to be distressful. But one of the things that the beauty of meditation is that there's a disentanglement. You start to see that the power of those thoughts and those emotions start to dissipate because they're no longer true. It's like if you've ever seen this when you're watching a movie, and you've seen this before, that the movie projector breaks. So the movie starts slowing down, so the illusion of the story starts to break apart, until ultimately you see that the movie is just a succession of individual frames occurring quickly that give the illusion of a reality. And your thoughts are just the same thing. They're just a succession of frames creating an illusion of reality. And in meditation, as that starts to slow down a little bit, as you gain insight, as those thoughts start to settle down, you just realize that they're just not as important as you thought they were. So you don't have to get rid of them. You don't have to push them away. You don't have to keep them in the background. It's just they just don't seem to matter as much anymore. So I hope that was a helpful answer for you, Christine.